About 2 months ago, I was in LA and did some filming of locations where the Andy Griffith Show was filmed in the early 60s. So I'll put together some clips of that, and you can come along with me. Most people remember the Andy Griffith Show and the opening credits of Andy and Opie walking down to the fishing hole, the whistling in the background, and Opie eventually throwing a rock into the pond. Now, this opening sequence was actually filmed at Franklin Canyon Reservoir, which is just a few miles north of Hollywood, in the Hollywood Hills. Now, this is the place that actually took place. It's more of a footpath. It kind of looks like a road in the original credits. As you could see, I had the picture-in-picture there to where you could see the original credits. And here's a shot of them actually doing the filming of the opening sequence. This is the area where Opie actually throws the rock into the pond, and this is looking back to where it originates at. You park up on an upper level, and you have to kind of walk down some steps to get to this area. And it almost looks like a little camping area that's there. So if you're ever in LA, get directions to Franklin Canyon Reservoir. It's well worth the trip out there. Now we're leaving from the Hollywood Hills and heading over to the second location that the Andy Griffith Show was filmed at. We're headed to what's called Desilu Studios. It's not called Desilu anymore. It's called Red Studios. But it's in LA. It's near Paramount Pictures. And this is where all the interior shots were filmed. Everything inside the courthouse, inside the barber shop, was filmed on sound stages 1 and 2, as you can see from this aerial view. Everything was done on a sound stage. A good portion of the show was shot in these 2 sound stages, Sound Stage 1 and Sound Stage 2. Now, this is the entrance to the side of the sound stages. Off to your right there is actually the sound stages. And you can see the sides of the sound stages here. This street is actually Lillian or Lillian Way. I can't remember which one it is. And it runs along the side of the Desilu Studios. And it's important because if you'll look at this aerial view here, you'll see where Thelma Lou's house stood. Now, this was the actual house that somebody lived in, and they just leased it from them. And you can see it here. It's at 830 Lillian Way. And it was actually a residence, and they just leased it periodically for use during the show. Now, this is a shot that looks like it was taken during the late 50s, early 60s, and you can see the house in the background. And this is where it actually stood. There's a parking lot there right now, but about where that gray car was is where her house actually stood. The Andy Griffith Show used it not just as her house, but they used it for other outside scenes that were shot. But it's one of the few places that is not on the 40 acres back lot of Desilu that was used for exterior shots. And here again, you can see it. About where that gray car was is where the house stood. And again, this is looking down Desilu Studios down the sound stages. Now we're heading to the 40 acres backlot of Desilu in Culver City. Culver City's a little bit south of where Desilu Gower was. It sits kind of in a triangle, and you can see from this picture the old shot of the backlot. You can see the town of Mayberry. There's a lot of things that were filmed in this old backlot. Gone with the Wind was filmed here. King Kong was filmed here. Gomer Pyle was filmed here in different areas of this backlot. Now this backlot is no longer there. It has, I think it was torn down in the early 70s. And here you can see the Mayberry Courthouse. This is going to be important because you're going to see me standing on the location. Now this is it. This is the way it looks today. And right about where those porta potties are is where the Mayberry Courthouse stood. And when I'm filming, I'm actually standing on the main street of Mayberry. So Floyd's Barber Shop would have been just off to the left of those porta potties. This is still a filming location, but it's not a backlot. They have sound stages here. Some studio uses it. Now you're going to see where Andy's house was in just a few minutes. Here we go. And it's right there is about the location of where Andy's house actually was. Here's a shot from during the 60s when filming was going on. And if you look back down this way, all the way to the end is where Gone with the Wind was filmed. That's where Tara was. That is where the train station from Gone with the Wind was. And you're going to have to pardon my jumpiness on the camera. My stabilizer was acting up a little bit this day. Now they actually have a plaque here showing that King Kong was filmed here. One of the few remnants of a bygone era. Now I had to travel to downtown LA to visit a location where that's sacred ground to me. It's where Don Knotts is buried. And Don Knotts is buried right in the middle of downtown at Pierce Brothers Westwood. There's also quite a few other celebrities buried there. There's a lot of celebrities buried there. But I had to go pay my respects to Don Knotts. He's brought me a lot of happiness over the years. You can see he's got quite the marker there. Then after I left here, I went to Pierce Brothers Valhalla Cemetery, which is one of the poorliest kept cemeteries I think I've ever seen. And this is where Helen Crump, Andy's girlfriend, Anita Coruscant, is buried. I had to go pay my respects there. Thank you so much for watching.